Take a centre profile line at the top of the head, further place your comb at the apex and find where the head starts to drop off at the back. Place your finger at the area where it drops and begin your radial section towards the back of the ear. Repeat this process for the other side, which separates the front from the back. Clip away the back panel, as we won't be using this until later. We'll now take a line from the centre of the head towards the recession point or corner of the eyebrow. Clip away the excess above the ear. Repeat this for both sides, which leaves us with 3 definitive sections. The middle is our delta section and where we'll begin cutting our fringe, and the 2 side panels which will be for over direction. That's the head map sectioned away and tidy. We'll now start by taking a section of hair at the front of the head no wider than the width of your comb. We'll split this into 3 panels, the middle, left and right. Grab your KASHO razor or scissors and start at the middle panel. We'll determine our length and cut our guide. Once the guide has been set, we'll release the left or right panel and carry this on for both sections in a square, horizontal line. Follow up by releasing another section, again no wider than the width of your comb. Repeat the same process 3 times until we've completed our delta section. Give the hair a shake, give it a visual check to make sure you're nice and balanced before we move on to our over direction panels at the sides of the head. Release your first section at the temple peak and clip the rest away. We're now over directing this section to match the front of the hairline where we previously cut our fringe. This will help frame the face and will graduate our line as it gets longer towards the nape. Repeat this method once again, or if you find the density of the hair is strong, then take it in multiple sections. The way over direction works is by taking the hair from its natural line and extending it away from its natural fall. This in turn creates a graduated effect from short to long, helping us achieve an exaggerated shape and helps us to maintain maximum length. As you get to your second section of hair, you'll find there's less to cut, and this is because of over direction, so this is normal, don't panic. Mirror this method for both sides and check for balance before moving on to the back panels. This is a great time to introduce you to my ebook. If you enjoy my style of education, then I would love for you to take a look at my latest book, as it's packed full of useful information from the history and evolution of barbering to essential barbering tools and equipment, body positioning and posture, and even some client retention and business advice. If this sounds like a bit of you, then head down to the description below where you can find a link to the website. Split the hair into 2 zones at the back of the head and clip away the section you're not using. Further split the hair in half on the side you've chosen and over direct this panel into the previously cut side panel. Find your guide and follow the same method as our last sections as you move on to section 2 and 3. You'll find that there's minimal or no hair to cut. This is because we've successfully over-directed the back panels. Repeat this for both sides before we move on to our layers at the front of the head. We'll now split the hair back into 2 zones, take a centre profile line at the top of the head and back to the crown. Place your comb at the apex to find the curvature, and same as before, take your radial sections where the head curves away from the comb. Clip away the back panel by pulling the hair tight and wrapping it around itself. To section our side panels from the top, we'll place the comb flat against the side of the head and find where the natural curvature lies. Press down on the comb to find where we place our line. Repeat this on both sides and move to the top layer. To start our layer on the top of the head, we'll take a vertical section, otherwise known as the profile guide. The shape we're looking to produce is a square shape, as we want to retain length and density towards the extremities of the haircut. This means that everything on the outer layer of the shape is going to stay nice and thick, while the internal layer has lots of choppy texture and volume, giving us that 80s rock shape. Pull the hair directly up in a square line, and using a vertical cutting method, follow this back to the crown. Once the vertical guide is cut, we'll switch up our angle and start taking horizontal sections of hair. This will ensure that we keep as much weight as we can towards the ends of our shape. Follow the horizontal sections of hair down to the frontal area and then over direct the last 2 panels into your previous sections. Further move to the side panels and over direct these into the top. There shouldn't be too much to cut here, so mirror this for the left and right zones before moving on to our back layer. Comb the hair forwards and again use a centre line to find the apex. We're now taking a section the same width as the comb, so that we can push this into our virgin hair at the back. Section the hair on the left and right side and comb this back into the coronal area. Now secure the front panels with your clips. Take a section at the back of the head no wider than the width of your comb and clip away the hair that we're not using so that we stay neat and tidy. We're now introducing a round shape at the coronal area, and this is imitated by the comb as you can see here. Second to that, we're now using a pivot technique as you can see here as well. This technique helps when we're following the curvature of the head, as each section is held perpendicular to the head shape. To start, we'll find our shortest point, which will be the section of hair we've just taken from the frontal area. Carrying on with our vertical cutting method, we'll follow the guide through to the occipital bone in a rounded fashion. Now pivot left or right and take a new section, keeping in mind that this section should be no wider than the width of your comb. As we get towards the edge of the shape, with section 5 and 6 we're over-directing these panels into the previous so that we retain weight at the edges. Repeat this for both sides before we move on to our slicing technique. So moving on to our slicing graduation, take a section the width of our comb and find the shortest point at the occipital bone. Let the shorter lengths drop away until you're left mostly with length at the bottom and a small portion of your original cut guide at the top. Place your scissor over the top of your finger and gradually open and close your blade to help the scissor slice down the hair shaft. As your scissors cut, you should be moving away from the shape in a smooth and consistent line so that we're gradually getting longer towards the extremities. Repeat this same technique left and right of the original section, following the same method as we did with our previous layer. As we approach section 5 and 6, we're over-directing into the previous panel. Well done, give yourself a pat on the back, the hard bit is now over. We're just tidying up the bottom of the hairline with a point cutting technique to make sure the shape is consistent. This method is known as the line technique, and it's where the hair is held at 0 degrees elevation and cut in a blunt line either rounded or squared. On to the styling then, let's make this haircut look proper 80s shag, ready to chuck on some skin tight, one length suits and scream your heart out. Douse the hair in water, giving it some hydration, and use a generous amount of curl jelly or finishing product of your choice to give the hair some body. Evenly distribute it through the lengths and ends, and take a little time here to piece out the hair in a dishevelled but neat fashion and place movement grips wherever you want little to no volume. I've done so here at the front of the hairline, as I want to keep that fringe nice and close to the forehead. It's super important not to blast the hair with a load of air and heat, so turn your hairdryer down to a low heat, low speed setting and attach a diffuser. When drying curls, you'll want the hair to naturally fall away from the head, so you can scrunch them up with the hairdryer. We've only got to complete it, mate. We've done it all. Layers, graduation, line, texture, curls, the lot. What a trim that was. If you've managed to come this far, then treat yourself to a Kit Kat because that was some going. I'm CMC Barber, you're a star in the making. Let's chuck a cup of tea on so we can smash through some more tutorials. Check out these two haircuts for more scissor slinging action. Ciao!